Well, welcome to today's session. I hope you're tuning in all week. In case you are, this week I'm doing my traditional series, and yet it's adapted with something new. Each of these sessions this week all involve some AI secrets, how AI can help each of the stages of your job search or career, or even your career management. So if you are overall stuck on your plan, that was Monday's lecture. You can watch these all on replay, supercharging your job search. Tuesday was resume renovation, all the secrets really to make your resume just jump out of that stack of resumes. Today, we're going to talk about LinkedIn and really your virtual career branding, which is incredibly important these days. Tomorrow, we'll take that a step further, almost the part 2 to LinkedIn, which is really career evolution with social media marketing, teaching you how to run a social media marketing campaign for yourself with just 2 minutes per day. Everybody has 2 minutes per day. Friday, we're going to close out the week with interview intervention, and all of the sessions, as I said, will have very interesting things to share all about. So here's the schedule for the next couple of days. Hopefully you can join in and share with your friends, everything else. Now, if you're suffering like most are from poor storytelling, check out my website, go to the career branding section, and really find out what can be done with your resume and LinkedIn profile to really transform them into what they should be. You heard a little bit about resume yesterday. You're going to hear all about what I believe resume should be today. While you're on Self-Recruiter, click the blog link and you'll get to a lot of my videos, articles, all sorts of things there that will help you. When you click through to any of them, notice at the top of the website, you will then suddenly have a very extensive, even runs down the side, sorting. So there's many, many things up there you can sort by interviews or resume or challenges or questions, whatever you might have. Let's get to today. This is LinkedIn and your virtual career brand. So how are you interesting? What makes you tick? What is it about you? Now, that may seem an unusual question unless you're all in on your work life. But yes, what drives us, whether it's related to us professionally or it's separate from what we do professionally, is also part of who we are and what we have to sell. So let's not forget this part. We talked a lot about that and how to extract the story from yourself to reinvent it in yesterday's lecture. That's the resume renovation lecture. So if you didn't hear that whole piece of how to extract all that wonderful new story that you didn't know you had, listen to yesterday's lecture. That'll help you. Now, let's get over to LinkedIn, and I do need a sip of coffee here. LinkedIn, de facto social networking website for our work life. Really just like Facebook, except this one's for our career, which means everything I do there, I have to look as if someone's looking over my shoulder, watching what I'm reading, doing, sharing, attending. What's happening here is that this person is judging me. That's part of how I take control, by letting them see what I'm going to wear on stage or across my profession or at the company gathering, whatever it may be. This is part of how to take control of the discussion. LinkedIn's a few more things than that, though. It's a communications, research, marketing, and advertising platform. Now, any business person thinks of LinkedIn this way automatically, but as an individual that has to manage their career brand forevermore, you have to be thinking of LinkedIn this way, and you have to be taking advantage of some of these aspects of LinkedIn. Very, very important. I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, most of what LinkedIn shows you and talks about is this 3-level network. As you and I connect, happy guy down in the corner connected to another happy person there, you're my connection, but no matter what you do to your settings, every one of your connections are also in John's pool. And no matter what those folks do to their settings, every one of those folks are also in John's pool. That's a 3-level searchable pool. I have millions and millions and millions of people in my searchable pool. I want to connect with as many people as possible. That's a very different thing. This is about influence, because this pool that is my greater network can see many of my shares. I can see many of their shares. I can find those people when I search for them, and they can find me when they search for me, which is incredibly important as well, especially if I'd like to be hired by someone that doesn't know me in the industry. So for a little more clarification on personal branding, your resume is about catching or piquing that interest, not telling the whole story, certainly not a multiple page thing that never ends. dazzling sales sheet that makes them jump out of the chair. Get them in here, get them on the phone. I have to speak with them. That's the correct amount of information on the resume. They have to know more and they can't live without it. Polar opposite of that is what we do for the LinkedIn profile. I'm a big believer that you take that single sheet of paper, which we described in yesterday's resume renovation lecture, and then you think about how you expand that story, not with the dull stuff, only still the ruby, diamond, emerald, nugget of gold, drop of perfume, that kind of thing. Those kinds of things, we have lots of them that don't fit on the single sheet of paper. We expand that on the LinkedIn side until we create a three-dimensional sales brochure, just like those sales brochures that used to or are still in some of those travel locations. If you go to some touristy location, you'll see those travel brochures all over the place, a little trifold. I want you to think of your LinkedIn that way. It's about positioning you and closing their minds on you as the very best individual in this field. That's what it's all about. If you haven't seen me before, John Crant, author, career coach, and speaker, resume and LinkedIn guru as well. So as I said, if you are suffering from poor storytelling across your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and those materials that are so critical to your future and your family's future and income, work with someone that can change that equation for you in a very, very dramatic way. Just check out my website. All the packages are listed. If you're unsure which one is the right one, send me a quick email. We can talk before we select the right package for you. Just don't sit there and suffer because it's just not going to help you. What you're seeing right now is a few resources that are on my LinkedIn profile. You can go to my LinkedIn profile, click on all my articles and other things that are there. They'll all help you. So let's jump ahead now. This is really about bringing your brand into the digital world. We created the brand on the resume, but now how do we bring that to LinkedIn and really any other platform we might be using for our professional purposes? I think you can probably manage 2 or 3 of them without it consuming all of your time. But we have to start with this question of why social media matters. And some might argue it's destroying the world. Okay, but the cat's out of the bag. Cat's not going back in the bag. Pandora's not going back in the box. It's not going to happen. So how do we use it to our advantage? Small changes change perception. It's really that simple. We don't really realize how quickly perception changes with a few little nudges, but it really just takes a few little nudges, especially across social media. Back to the why is it so important piece. Well, here's all the reasons. I don't have to read all these for you. They're right there. But look at the second from the bottom here. Proper use of social media. And for me, that's surgical. 2, 3, 4 minutes per day total in most cases. That does require homework in advance, by the way. So it's all ready to go. Copy, paste, share, copy, paste, share, copy, paste, share. 2, 3, 4 minutes a day. Keep you on top of people's minds that you seemingly have no contact with, and yet they're all aware of your career and what's going on, your trajectory. And when they're ready to hire or run into someone that's looking for someone like you, boom, that's how those things happen. So I want you to think about changing perception with small little seeds we're going to put out there on the internet. Now, as we're constructing a LinkedIn profile that's going to be effective, and by the way, I am going to give you AI secrets and how I recommend using AI for your LinkedIn profile. That comes a little bit later, so hang on for that. But let's start with this why you're going to get hired. The number one reason above all other things is chemistry. This is assuming you are capable and qualified. That isn't understood. I do not hire you because you're capable and qualified. Please don't mishear that. I would never hire you if I did not think you were capable or qualified. But that's not a determining factor. That's a determining factor for who I even speak with. The reason I hire you is chemistry. Above all other things, number one in the world is chemistry. I have to get you. I have to feel we're going to be able to work together, or you can work together with my team, or you get what we're all about, and I get what you're all about. You know why the chemistry is so important? If I hire you, please be capable and qualified. Absolutely. But if I hire you, you're going to spend your waking life with you. I'm going to spend my waking life with you. And that's probably more time than we spend with our loved ones. That's why we want to like you. That's why we want to get you. It's as simple as that. The other deciding factor is number 2, confidence. Number 2 is confidence above everything else. I have to have confidence in you that I don't even know what I'll get, but I know if I roll the dice and hire you rather than just these cookie cutter interchangeable people over here. If I hire you, I realize I'll get something different. Don't even know what it is, but I know it'll be special. Confidence in you. It's your job to instill confidence, which is very difficult when you go into an interview and you feel like it's only my second interview in 6 months and I'm so desperate. We'll talk about interviewing on Friday. Please do tune in for that. It'll be terrific. Chemistry and confidence, that is the reason you get hired. That must filter and affect everything that you decide to put on LinkedIn, which brings us back to, why are you interesting? What makes you tick? And that has to be part of the story without overwhelming. It's not about allowing your LinkedIn to become Facebook, but it is allowing them to peek a little bit behind the curtains to go, wonderful professional life. Who is this person? What drives them? What keeps them moving in life? So please don't leave out those things. They're very, very, very important. So before I even take you over to LinkedIn, I want to take you over to my Instagram. You might go, what? So remember I said you could manage 2 or 3 platforms probably effectively, and the job search or your current job, and still look and manage the career brand. Well, Instagram is certainly a factor in a lot of people's careers and jobs. You may or may not realize it, but if you're, let's look at someone that works somewhere in creative. If you work in creative and you're not using your Instagram to somehow reflect who you are professionally, there's something disassociated with your understanding of the effect that this could have for you. How do I use my Instagram? Well, as you see, there's absolutely nothing here about what I do professionally. Well, why are you showing this to me, John? And why do you think it's important? Well, because any hire decision is the same as any buy decision or purchase decision. If you're going to hire a career coach, not only do you want them to be capable and qualified and have a full understanding of everything they're doing, but you also want to get them who they are, what they're all about. So that's how I use my Instagram. You see me hiking up the Hudson Valley or out in Yosemite, or the last number of frames were here about 4.5 years ago, almost dying just outside of Palm Springs in the middle of the desert at 108 degrees. It was one of those bucket list hikes that I mean, it's on the bucket list. Getting older, I'm not going to make it if I don't get there soon. I'm like, so I had one singular day at the end of August. To be clear, all of the recommendations said never do this hike in July or August. Just too hot, too dangerous. But my only chance there was the end of August. So I'm like, I prepared. I had tons of water, friend with me, everything else. We went over the routes. I had everything planned out. I signed in the guest book with only car out in the middle of the desert. Last guest was here 2 days ago. Looking bleak. Anyway, long story, made a wrong turn about halfway through the hike at the top of the plateau. And it wasn't until I got to the end of the plateau that I realized there was no way down because I made this wrong turn. And that exposed me to 2 miles of additional hiking in direct sun at 108 degrees. And that's stopping every couple hundred feet. And for the last hour of the hike, my heart rate was above 180. And gosh, I lived to tell. Barely. I will be more prepared next time. But be careful. So that I show that aspect of who I am because people want to get you. So yes, you need to show this is how I'm cookie cutter perfect and interchangeable. But if you're only that, oh, I'm paying you less. Number 3, I'm going to hire you. I'm paying you less. You don't want less? Number 4, number 5, I don't care who you are. I'm going to hire you. You're getting less because you're all interchangeable. So as you assemble and build out your profile, and this is why most of the profile really needs a human being to really do it with very, very nuanced insights. You have to accomplish that, but you also have to be different, special, and an individual that stands out from their field. And that's all part of the personal branding that you put together in very, very subtle ways that also shores up and conveys confidence, even if you don't feel confident. This is a big paradigm shift, a fundamental change in how we've done things, because it's our job to teach them how to select us, not simply wait for them to do it. And we're going to have a lot of discussion on the interview session on Friday about that. So personal branding, just for a little more detail, resumes, the essence and value of your career on a single sheet of paper, make them jump out of there Get them on the phone, get her in here. I have to speak with them, whoever they are. LinkedIn becomes this three-dimensional sales brochure all about you that naturally drives them to that singular conclusion that if I hire this person, if I work with this person, if I hire this vendor, it's the best business decision I'll make today. Then you've achieved your mission. Now, if you remember from yesterday, on top of the resume, single contact line. So on the left side, we have the LinkedIn URL. If the resume, they're I'm almost sold, not quite, I'm almost sold. I love this person, like to see a little bit more. Click, they get right to the LinkedIn profile very, very quickly. They're already sold. Other end of the line, easiest to get to is then the cell phone number. Call this person right away. This is how you quickly get them over to your sales brochure. It's part of even the networking process today. This creating this pool of contacts that you can leverage to your benefit that makes things much, much easier in life. Now, traditional networking, oh, it's these few things. And most people are like, I hate networking. Well, I'll tell you a little secret. Now, in person, I always like to ask the audience about who likes networking, who likes networking. And, there's always a handful. There's a handful in every, I love networking. I'm like, 3 or 4 people's hands go up, 4 or 5 people's hands go up, even a very, very large collection of people. And I'll point out, I said, did you notice whose hand it didn't go up? You didn't see my hand going up. No matter what you see here, no matter what I do on my public talks, no matter how I work with my clients, under the skin, in reality, I'm shy and introverted, no matter who I am. So do you think I really like networking? No. Am I good at it? Oh, I'm exceptional at it. You can simply use technique to get by all of your insecurities, everything else. But most people just don't understand it. They run through these things and they're like, oh, so glad that's over. Because they approach it the usual customer expected way. Oh, here's my card. This is what I've done. This is my problems. This is what they think they're there to confess and commiserate. It's this rut. Leaves them in a very unhappy place. You are there to sell and inspire and engage them, even if you're not working. Whole nother lecture all on networking. You can look that up on my Self Recruiter YouTube channel, or you can check over on the blog listing on Self Recruiter as well. Just change a lot of the rules to the unusual, unconventional, unexpected, including in your networking, including your approach to LinkedIn, and you'll have very different results because of the shift upstairs. That's where these moments of clarity will come from. Now, as we move ahead, let's get to a question, and then I'll show you how to maximize your profile as a selling tool. Whom should I network with? There's so many things I could do. Let's just get you right to the answer here. Are you ready for it? Everyone. Everyone is a good connection. Everyone is a good network. You don't have any idea who their neighbor is, who their son is, who their mother is, who their siblings are. All those things we don't know. So in the park, everywhere, link, and let's really begin to connect and open and sell ourselves professionally on a constant basis without the ego and arrogance. Now, 2 techniques, and then very next is optimizing the profiles. 2 techniques. These are techniques that recruiters use every single day. A little of my background is 3 different disciplines on a desk as a headhunter. That's over 7 or 8 years. Then I was the national trainer across our 100 office recruiting system, handling all of the training programs to teach recruiters how to do what they do, and ending up being VP over all that 100 office recruiting system before working one-on-one with clients. You can take these techniques to the bank. They work very well. This first one will help you create a statistically perfect list that will generate 30 companies or organizations that would hire you tomorrow if they had an opening. That's the only unknown. Do they have an opening? But they'll be statistically perfect to hire you. Starting with that list as your job search list is a game changer. Now, I did show another way to make that list yesterday, and I'll show you another way to make that list even further on in today's upcoming little area. So now, this technique is a 1 back, 1 forward. So here's how you do it. You're going to go into your database, which is your LinkedIn network. You can go into your database and do just what recruiters do when they find a great candidate. Recruiter goes into their database and they look for someone just like that candidate. Not in every way, shape, or form, just like you're going to look for someone just like you, but not in every way, shape, or form. And then I'm going to find someone that had made one job move forward, collect all those people together. Yes, this does take homework. This is the real work. And it's very worth it. And then I begin to look at them. Now, so I maybe I was a Coca-Cola quality manager and I got let go. And so I went and searched for people that used to be, and this is all done on the free version of LinkedIn, that used to be, no longer are, used to be Coca-Cola quality managers anywhere in the country because I'm looking for ideas. And I collect them all together, the ones that made new jobs. Like, so we're identical with the Coca-Cola quality manager, and they have a one forward because they landed a new job, but they also have a one back, which is where they came from before they were the Coca-Cola quality manager. All of those companies, no matter what level of career the person was on, all of those companies should have those same roles. So all the one backs, all the one forwards, I collect all those names together. And in this case, if we're talking about Coca-Cola quality manager, the first thing you're going to do is go, oh, what did John tell me to do? I know most of these. 7-Up, Pepsi-Cola, RC Cola. Sure. All those ones you should have written down off the top of your head. Absolutely. But you're going to see all these companies you've never heard of. There's like a million, beverage companies out there that you've never heard of, all statistically right to hire you. You just need to reach out, introduce yourself, and see if they have an opening. By the way, after a good recruiter does this and creates that list of 30 companies, they don't bother to go to those companies' websites. They don't bother to look on the job boards. They simply pick up the phone and call 30 managers at 30 companies. And every single time, statistically, it's 2, 3, or 4 have an opening. That's very good odds. May seem daunting to you. That's very good odds for you to reach out and introduce yourself and market yourself right into a new role. Here's another technique, and then we'll optimize the profiles. This is a 1, 2, 3 forward technique. Great if you're just out of school. Also great if you're mid-career and go, I am so done with this. I'm so done with this, but I don't know what to do. So I have a real example for this one because it's harder to grasp, and I'll show you the real example. The concept is very similar. I'm going to find a person just like me in some way, shape, or form, not every way, shape, or form. But now I have to dig deeper. It's harder work. I'm looking to not reinvent the wheel. I mean, the wheel's in a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful invention, but it's been invented. I don't have to bang my head against the concrete to reinvent the wheel. It's been invented. So the concept here is, why don't I simply find someone else that invented what I'd like and follow that wheel or follow that path down the road? So you find someone that made 3 job moves forward from where you are alike now, or used to be alike if they've moved 3 forward, and then you collect all those together. Let's show you the real example because it's much more interesting. So I had a gal call me up from Atlanta. I'll make this a little bit larger. I can go over top of this one. There we go. I can become small. So I had a gal call me up from Atlanta, and she says, I think I need help. I think I need a career coach. I think I don't have a career. I'm like, sounds a little harsh. Send me your stuff. Let's take a look. And you know what it was? It was 2 to 3 years out of school, done a little of this, a little of that. Now she's managing a health club. Nothing wrong with managing a health club. Doesn't want to manage a health club. I said, well, what would you like to do? She's like, I don't know. I said, well, let's go back to your assets. And in her case, I really saw her asset as her education. So I said, let's go back to your main asset. You went to Clark Atlanta University. Guess what? All the people I'm going to show you went to Clark Atlanta University. She studied mass media. All these people here that I'm about to show you studied mass media. And through the magic of search at the time that I did this, they were all 3, 4, 5 years out of school. Same asset. What did they do with it? Then we started to look around going, forget where they are. None of that matters. What do you like that you see? Oh, events coordinator. I liked it. Oh, events at Warner Brothers. Oh, that looks pretty interesting. I'd love to be a marketing director, or membership director. Really, I guess it's really. Recruiter. I'd like to help people. So we'll come back to that one. Well, my client here is over on the right, Trish Tahita. And you sit and look and go, wow, this person didn't know what they were looking for. Now they know they're looking for a nonprofit or foundation. And there's a lot of those around Atlanta, but I don't know what kind of role I'm looking for. Member services role. Because, this person that has the job that you're dreaming about, this membership director at this nonprofit, this chamber of commerce, in the middle column, what was their first job? member services that led to membership manager that led to membership director. And so really it's member services, but I don't even know what that is. Well, I don't either, but apparently they're going to love your background. Let's go sell it. And I have to update this story. It's been a while. Moved into member services and then up to manager of member services and database, and finally up to director of membership operations, down an entire track that they didn't realize existed before a phone call. A few simple searches. Mid-career, this can help you as well. Right out of school, you get how it works. Mid-career, I would do the same thing and find that person that made 3 job moves forward since working as a Coca-Cola quality manager. Yes, the vast majority will all stay in food and beverage, but some of them will have spiraled out into other fields. You might go, how did they do that? I'm like, I don't know. But why don't you just follow them? Apparently, those companies are going to love your background. Go and introduce yourself, and let's open up something new. Perception is reality, and that's what LinkedIn is about. It's not only containing it, but dressing it up, putting it on a stage and lighting it, because we're a product, but we have to have some idea of our product. If we don't have some idea of our product, it's not going to go very, very well for us. How much effort? It's all determined right here. Put the amount of effort equal to the amount of success that you'd like, because small changes change everything and change the reality of the perception for you. And create what you need to create, which is not only being cookie cutter perfect for what you're after, but also being so unique and special that you demand different responsibilities or different pay structure or all of those kinds of things. Now, over to LinkedIn, I'm going to show you a few shares. These are some shares on my LinkedIn profile. I'm not even in this one, but it was a Morgan Stanley event, so I shared that and talked about it. Then I'm sharing one of my lectures when I was doing the public lectures at the library. Then I was doing an online boot camp. Someone took a picture of that, and my father would have loved that picture. He's passed away now, but he would have loved that picture. He was a Catholic deacon. I saw him in that that pose many, many times. Here I am. I'm not even in it, but my coffee and my book made it in up to, I guess I could come larger now. There we go. My coffee and my book made it. WHCR, Voice of Harlem Radio, been up there a number of times. A lot of fun. It's 2 hours drive time, 6 in the morning. There's nothing prepared. It's all off the cuff and fantastic. Sharing a few of my articles. All of this, you realize as you begin to share it, has an advertising value, a perception value. Here I'm resharing, piggybacking really somebody else's content who was sharing the authors he had on the radio that month. And of course, one of those was my book. Running out to another lecture, can't share the same photo all the time. Shared one of the photos that someone in the audience had shared with me, where I was at the end of my lecture. I'm showing a ridiculously long email signature. I'm blushing. I'm greasy. 1,500 views suddenly. Don't be afraid to break your brand. Now, I have a lot of brand control. Full disclosure, my other half's a creative director, so it's much, much easier for me, and I've absorbed a lot. But also, we have to not be afraid to be a human being and be real, because that outmaneuvers everything else. Now, let's get to LinkedIn. Creating your career brand. This is about creating it in the virtual world. So we likely have to manage several sites. I definitely recommend LinkedIn and either X, if I have to say that, or probably Threads or one of those. But I think between one of the text chat sites and maybe LinkedIn and maybe Instagram or something else that might be right for you, that's probably the 2 or 3 that you could probably do. It's about setting up those profiles on each of those platforms so that they don't just mirror each other, but somehow they work together from a brand perspective, and then allowing your content to flow across all of those spaces. So no matter who's looking at you from whatever direction, you're beginning to influence, they're beginning to be aware of you. And when someone needs someone like you, gosh, you come to the top of the mind. You have to think about, even though you may not be in all of these, yours may be articles, books, events on what's going on in your industry, really demonstrating you having your finger on the pulse of what's going on. Over time, it has a tremendous impact in creating this virtual career brand for you. All of it, though, you have to filter through one singular question, and that question's pretty easy. Why is it going to be the best business decision they make today if they choose to hire you? If it rises to that level, it goes on the profile. If it does not rise to that level, it does not go on the profile. Much deeper talk about developing the content pieces yesterday from resume, and you begin to borrow some of that over into your LinkedIn profile. Let's get into LinkedIn itself. Begin by understanding how you look to other people. If you go and look at someone that you like, oh, I'd like that job over XYZ, and you look at that manager, how do you show up on the managers? 6 people have looked at you, Jack. Who's looked at me? Well, how are you going to show up? Are you going to show up as these anonymous people at the bottom? You know, there's really no purpose to being anonymous on LinkedIn. This is your professional shingle put out there for the world to present yourself. There's no reason for that. So it's a don't look here. I don't even know why that person's there. Who else should we look at here? Let's pick another one on the list here if I can get this. There we go. Jonathan here. I'm not sure why I would look at Jonathan here. If you are a founder and an owner and are looking to be hired, you need to get out of your own way and change your titling. No one's going to hire a founder and an owner. You know why? Because those people have their own ideas. They don't listen to me. I can't tell them what to do. I can't manage them. Change your title to principal. It has all of the same benefit, none of the baggage. Of course, your picture has to be right for what you do as well. And I can tell you that Jonathan does not work in the glamour or fashion industry. So that is not the right profile image. That's not going to serve him well. Deborah, looking pretty good. I sense good energy here. Textiles, lighting, fashion, interiors. My gosh, I have a focus. Thank goodness. I'm getting some information finally. Good energy too. I can imagine working. I wonder what she really does though. Is she answering the phones or designing the fabric or producing the ads or dealing with customers? I really don't know. Wish I did. Brad here. Corporate affairs, communications, global reputation management. Oh, government relations, crisis comms. Oh, look, I can contact that guy. Looks right for the part too. Of course, full disclosure, that's one of my clients. That's what you need to look like in a snapshot. You need to look like the product. Your profiles are the world at your window. If you were in retail, what would you put in the window to get people in your store? I know it's a terrible time to be in retail, but that's your job. How are you going to get people in? That's what your profile is. So back to the interesting and what makes you tick. Now, as we look at my profile, I want you to disregard my content. The content doesn't really matter, but I do need you to absorb how to utilize space to tell story. You could literally spend time side by side with my profile and borrow the style, adapt the story to yours, and you'd have a very effective profile. Don't worry, those AI secrets are still coming up, but at the very end. So first impressions, this is a sales brochure. You ever pick up one of those travel brochures out of the rack? If it doesn't grab you, you're never picking it up out of the rack. So yes, we have to use a banner image. Nope, you don't have to be in it. Public speaker, pretty easy for me to be in it. I can get those shots. They need to work. The banner, by the way, needs to not be distracting from you. It needs to add focus to you because you're the product, and it has to somehow work in harmony. First impression, very, very important. Below your name is this, I don't even know how many characters are allowed there now. They keep expanding, but this is the 200-300 character resume right there. If they have no idea who you are, what are the 200 or 300 words that could tell them everything that they would go, I have to click through and know more. So what do I tell them? Author and career coach, resume, LinkedIn, and career branding guru, featured speaker at the New York Public Library, Department of Labor, CUNY, many others, quoted and seen in the Wall Street Journal, CNN, Forbes, Essence Magazine. Oh my gosh, I can contact this guy. Would you like to be contacted? Put your email address in the headline. It is one of the only places LinkedIn does not promptly hide it from 99% of the people because that's their business model. I won't be controlled like that. And am I going to end up with spam? Absolutely. I had to buy and sign up for a paid spam filter because I post my stuff everywhere, not just here. I post it everywhere, and you can imagine what that leads to. But you're going to let spam keep you from getting to your destiny? Well, that would be silly, even if we don't like it. 500 plus connections, mover and shaker, mover and shaker. If you don't have 500 plus, you're not a mover and shaker. You got 80 connections. Oh, these are the best 80 connections ever. I'm not even going to look at you because I figure your career isn't moving long enough with only 80 connections. Perception is reality. I'll show you how to get to 500 plus connections in just 4 days. Even if you're at 0 today, that is coming up. About section, gosh, I start with a quote. Now, as you're going to hear me say very, very quickly here, I am not a fan of putting any sentence structure any paragraphs or anything like that in LinkedIn in general. There are always exceptions, like this quote. I think it's lovely. You know what? I wrote the quote myself. I put it in quotations. I put my name right after it. There it is. And yet it has effect. This is sales in how you construct this. So think about the banner image, think about the profile image, think about this marketing message about you, and how are you going to create this synergy. By the way, if this becomes too overwhelming for you to think about because we're so emotionally close to your background, that's why I work directly with clients one-on-one, creating all of this myself by hand without AI, really to use every little nuance of communication to make it the very, very best. Now, as you get down to, this is the about or the summary section. This about or summary section, it's about 2,000 characters of space, but you realize, gosh, there's no paragraphs, there's nothing else. White space becomes incredibly important to how people absorb information. I hate to say it. When I'm at the library, I wait to get struck by lightning every single time. No one will read. And I wait. I never get struck by lightning. But that's the reality. No one will read today. So you have to transform your communications to absorbable. They can see it, absorb it, see it, absorb it. Look at this as seen in featured list here. I could have put those news media hits in a very much more succinct way. Still would have been visually stunning, but it would have taken you an extra second or two to look at it that way. Running as a list this way, your eyes just run down it in the brain. It's there. That's simple. Think about absorption. There's so much room in this about section, and this is one of the areas I'm going to suggest you do use AI for at the end of the lecture when we talk about it. So much room left. I put in, well, featured speaker at the New York Public Library, Department of Labor. So much room left. I put in 8 or 10 more organizations in. I guess it was 8. But I can't just put a block of 8. It becomes a paragraph. No one's going to read it. So I had to break those out so no one misses NYC Service or Rainbow Push Wall Street Project or Goldman Sachs or Harvard Business School Club of New York City. This summary section still has more space. So you want to think about what else you can convey about you. For the job seeker, why don't you use this about or summary section to collect together every bit of the background that makes me who I am today, out of order from whenever it was in the career, and reassemble it in a different way and make the compelling argument about why you're the very best unique individual for this type of role you're going after because of these. That's a really amazing way to use this. Look, I even violate my own rule and put in a paragraph out of my book. If I lose them by this point, I lose them. Even made a little reference to my full services. Now, I begin to attach visual items. Some of those I even tag to be featured items if I want to make sure people see that. Look at how quickly we can change perception with proper sharing, which is all of tomorrow's lecture. But once I begin to share things, all of those items will contain a visual element that is naturally pulled from the website holding whatever I'm sharing, book, article, event, whatever it might be. And suddenly my profile becomes interesting and visual. And people are looking over my shoulder going, what is this guy reading, doing, sharing, attending? All of those things begin to influence others. Then you get to the more traditional resume part of the LinkedIn profile. But this doesn't look like a resume. Well, as I told you yesterday, those things don't work for most people, mostly because they don't work in the modern world any longer. They're designed improperly. They don't communicate in 5 seconds or less. That's what's required for a resume. Over here, though, we still have the same dilemma of no one wanting to read. Oh, but they do like to look and absorb. So you have to parse out your information just like it is here and decide how you want them to absorb the different elements. You realize just looking at this, I can go a little smaller. There we go. So it's bigger. You realize just looking at this, simply by grouping all of this information without any, there's no sentence structure, there's nothing, all the extra minutia that made it difficult to see what the heck are we talking about, it's right here, and they just absorb it. When you're all done, you help them a little bit more by adding just a little bit of all capitalization to give it a little structure. Not much capitalization, not going to read too much, they'll drawn out pretty quickly. Too much capitalization, not going to read much, just a little bit to give it some structure. Here's a look at some more traditional 2-line bullets and how that might work for you. Now, if you need a keyword block, and most people do not, but if you do need a keyword block, this is how you do it. Any part of the profile, you simply hit the return key, go down 2 or 3 rows, like I did here, put keywords, run them all together. Now, you've had a minute or 2, maybe even 3 to read this keyword block. I wonder if you have been. I wonder if you saw Stephen Covey, Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins. Never know how they're going to search him. A 5 o'clock club, 92nd Street Y. All these things I have absolutely nothing to do with. I should come a little bigger. I don't have anything to do with those things. Why are they here? Those are all things, because I think like a detective, those are all things that you could search to find someone like John. But you won't find John if you search those things, because I never worked for those organizations. But oh my gosh, if I put them in this keyword block, I naturally come up. And if you search those things, you'll also find John. Or if you need to come up next to certain key people in the industry people search for, wow, there's a great secret. I can toss their names in a keyword search block and it has no effect on anything. Everybody ignores it except for that machine and the algorithm and all those kinds of things that can help us. That's how you put a keyword block in if you need it. All of this in each of the sections is an absolute trial and error. What you're observing and what I'm showing you, and you can spend more time on my profile live itself, these are all hard returns. That means every line break is an actual hit the return line break, because I have to control the visual. LinkedIn only lets you control line breaks and space, and they even play with the space. But you have to think about it and play with it and get it to the best format that works, easiest to read for the visitor. Begin to attach some interesting things that will tell your story. Books, articles, events, go back in your history, find out what you've been involved in. Make sure you expand and tell the story in a way that's going to be advantageous to you. This is another example of a way to put in a keyword block without putting in keyword block, but making it story. This would be awful technique to use on your resume. You have a single sheet of paper to get them to dazzle out of the chair. This would be a waste of space to do it. But here, I'm not handcuffed by the limitations of the space. So I talk about this national recruiting office, 100 plus offices. We did manufacturing, engineering, supply chain, logistics, and on and on and on. And if you think about how I told that story, if you were in any one of these industries that are listed here and you needed help with your resume or career coaching or help building out a much better LinkedIn profile or understanding why you weren't getting called in for interviews in the first place, gosh, guess who would come up right in the search based on how I wrote the story. So think about what I just said and think about what in your background you might need to leverage that kind of use of the space. Another way, this is another keyword block, associated clients. Now that could get you in trouble. Be careful of those non-disclosure agreements, careful of trade secret agreements. I had the right to share every one of these clients that I worked with. I shared every single client that I worked with, even though it says, and many more. Well, many more that I approached. And I thought of them as clients, even though I hadn't landed a deal. But these are the actual clients I actually worked with. And so, again, if you think about, besides just the building credibility piece, it's like if you worked at any one of these organizations and you needed help building a new resume or building a better LinkedIn profile or really landing the offer after tough interviews and all that kind of negotiating stuff that's involved too, which is so difficult. Gosh, guess who would come up right in the search based on how I told it? So if you have a way to use that technique to benefit you, do. Here's the secret right here. This is how you get 500 plus connections in just 4 days. Once you get to 501 connections and you're 500 plus, then you can, yes, add more and more and more of all of the right people. Until that point, none of it matters. You must get to 501. I don't care if it's all janitors or service personnel or any industry that's unrelated to you. None of that matters until you get that number there. Then you can build in more and more and more of the right people. Just don't go 4 more days without being 500 plus. So, by the way, you can copy this line out of my profile and you can paste it anywhere into yours. Invite me, all invites accepted, open networker, and Lion. Coming up, I will show you how to use those directly, and boom, 4 days from now, you'll have very nice numbers. Publications module, I have my book in there, I have some articles in there, I have my blog in there. Anybody could post a blog and some articles and use the publication module that way. Organizations, anybody volunteer? I always love to ask that in person. And some excited people will go, I volunteer. I'm like, and right away, I'm almost like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was interested. And then I realized I wasn't interested. It's only volunteer work. And then I'll remind them, I said, you know what today is? Volunteering. There's no pay here. This is volunteer. But we have such a dismissive culture about volunteering. Everything for myself or my clients goes under the organizations module, all of the same benefit, none of the dismissive baggage. So here's where you put in all the other things that you do. They could be good works. Now you may see dates here because I'm a public speaker, but good works don't expire. If you did something for Habitat for Humanity in 2004, my gosh, it better be in here. Just drop the 2004. And when someone brings it up and they go, oh my gosh, Habitat for Humanity, tell me what you did. That was so interesting. That was all the way back in 2004. And I go right into the story. Let me point out the NYU Wasserman Center here. This is another example of a keyword block really done another way. I got called up going, hey, we're doing this roundtable discussion and a Q&A after and everything else. We thought it might be interesting. You want to try it? I'm like, absolutely. I love to try things. They sent me all the people in advance, and I'm looking up Jessica and John Lindinsky to get ready, and Vincent, and doing my research right before going to the event. And suddenly I open up John Lindinsky's profile, and I see, oh my gosh, he's got all these connections. He has more connections than I have. I'm competitive. I'm shy and introverted, yet I'm so competitive. I still want to win. But I'm thinking differently. It's not that I want more numbers than John Lindinsky. I want all of John Lindinsky's numbers and connections that I don't have. I already have my own connections. I want his. And so cleverly by doing this, giving credit where credit is due, not being afraid to share it confidently. Anytime someone Googles Jessica or John or Vincent, guess who comes right up next to that individual? That's how you do it. And you have to think about your LinkedIn profile this way. And if you need an expert to do it for you, I think you already know who that is. Skills and endorsements, you need to put in a great number. They used to have a limit. Now it's really unlimited. You have to at least put 50 or more in there. No one is an expert at 50 things. That's not the benchmark. If I reached over and touched my laptop there, I just touched it off screen. I touched it. Laptop is on the list. Wow, John, that's a very low threshold. You just touched the laptop. Think of it as exposure. Do I have exposure to a laptop? Yes, I do. I touched one. I know what they are. It's on the list. Some of the things on the list, absolutely, you will be an expert at, but you have to think as the person searching for you. And they go, I need someone who's an expert at this, done this, and maybe touched this and has a little exposure to this. And they dial this up like a recipe on the back end. If you didn't tag it, it doesn't work to your benefit. All of this extra detail you put in gets consolidated. It's all keyword searchable, but it gets consolidated. So it's so much easier for visitors. Everything begins to jump off the page, and yet it can all be expanded if they wanted to see more. And so it doesn't overwhelm the visitor, but that means you do have to look at every stage of your LinkedIn profile, open and close, and make judgments about the visual. Get recommendations from people. In a perfect world, 4, 5, or 6 written recommendations would be great. I think I have more than 50 of them out there. If you read some of them, your head's probably going to explode. Oh my gosh, didn't John see these typos? Didn't he see this grammar, see this other stuff? Absolutely, absolutely. That's why they work. You read any one of those things and you realize they're all organic, they're real, they're human beings speaking to what the effect was. And so that's my advice to you. When you don't write one for someone else to post to your profile, you just go, write as little or as much as you'd like to say. Here's the word, whatever you genuinely feel, I'm sure it'll be fine. And by the way, I am sure it'll be fine because it can never go live unless you approve it. Roll the dice and people will surprise you in a very good way. By the way, not one edit or not even one edit request in any one of those recommendations. I recommend you don't do edit requests either. Sanitizing, purifying, streamlining, all that kind of content will not help you. Groups, join as many as you can. They all expand your searchable pool. There's a self-recruiter group. Oh, I love that group. Follow some influencers. All of that's really, really important. get to the 500 plus connections. Here's how to do it. And then in the last few minutes, our AI updates are coming up. You need to be seen as a mover and shaker, finger on the pulse. This person knows everyone. So you go to LinkedIn, you go to the unified search box at the top of the page, and you put in invite me inside of quotations. Yeah, you're going to get a few freaky ones like you see in this search result, but further down the page, it's all these people that have invite me in the profile. No judgments, just invite me. No judgments, just invite me. You run down multiple pages. On the free version, I think they'll allow you to go through about 10 pages. You invite every single person. Connect. Just send it off. None of it matters. No special message here. This is not the employer we're pursuing. This is just building the network fast as we can move. Time is of essence. Next one, all invites accepted. Same thing. I run through all 10 pages, invite everyone I can. Next one, open networker. Same thing, all things. Last one, lion. Doesn't really need quotes. It's a single word. You're going to get some that don't belong. I work at Food Lion. I'm on the Lion team at the real estate company. Yeah, a few that don't belong. Most of them are going to be lions, which are high-powered networkers. Very good people to add when you get their network and the network behind them every single time. Take your first step and understand it's to repeat. Let me leave you with this part, and then I'll show you how to use AI in terms of how to enhance your LinkedIn profile itself. Create a job search plan. Select the organizations or companies that you want to work for. That's 30, by the way. Start with a list of 30, statistically perfect. Really, really good for you. Devise the steps needed. Think like a detective. Work backwards. Discover the decision makers. Rebuild the org chart. Think about it. Go after those people. Introduce yourself. Their job is to object to you. Your job is to overcome it and get the meeting and dazzle them. That's actual job search. That's not just sitting around and hitting the button. Now, we have to get to people. I showed you this yesterday, but I'm going to show you again today. We go in here to the unified search box. In this example, I am searching Informatica, big database middleware company. As long as I'm here, don't click on the drop-down menu, trip down the rabbit hole, just click enter and get what you'd like. All these ones that are in the list, these are all companies that either sell or reinstall Informatica software. So if I were statistically right to work for Informatica, I'm very statistically right to work for these. And once you get past the Informatica names, there's a whole bunch of system integrators that I'd be perfect for. Alternate method to build statistically perfect lists. But I have to then find the people. So I come back, I tag people. All of this is on the free version. 2.5 million, that's not going to help me. Okay, so thinking cap, maybe just the ones in the US. There we go. That makes more sense. And maybe the ones currently working for Informatica, not like 3 years ago Informatica people. And what do I get from that? 1,615 results. I like that. But I can't look at 1,600 people either. I'm going to have to put on my thinking cap again, even on the free version. I think it's a VP who's going to hire me. Really US, really currently Informatica, even on the free version. 75 VPs. A lot of chiefs in that company. Let me think. It's a director. It's probably a director. Director, really US, really Informatica. 228, going the wrong direction. I have it. You know why I have it? Because it's problem solving. We have to think. We have to brainstorm. It's a sales director. As long as I'm thinking about location, how about right down to New York City, even on the free version? And boom, I have 3 people now that I can contact. But I really wanted 5. So if I went back and if I thought about this a little bit more, how could I get to 5? Well, I was searching sales director. What about a sales VP in New York City? And suddenly, boom, I have 2 more. Now I have 5 people. If I can go after 5 people each time, each as if they're the only person in the world, you're Jack, you're Jim, you're Jill, my odds increase dramatically. Don't send in-mails. If I want to connect with Nick and it's not giving me a connect button, just load his profile, click the little ... and they've just hidden it behind the drop down. Don't let them control you. Just pull it up, connect, send the message you write one time ever. There it is. I like to connect with other professionals in our niche. You can hit pause on that and get it. Collect all your information. All of this is so important. This is part of getting your real job search moving. Now, in terms of AI, your LinkedIn profile is one of the places I recommend you use AI very sparingly. For each of the focuses this week, I'll tell you when I recommend using it, just like I did yesterday with cover letter. But here, I think that for the most part, AI doesn't yet understand the whole angle of needing to communicate all these things without sentence structure, without paragraphs, in a way that's absorbable. So right now, what I think you need to do is, first off, write your own content in every case all the time before using AI. If you don't write your own content first and then have AI improve it, it will never sound or be like you. And I know you're going, but that's why I want to use the AI, so it doesn't sound like me. But the closer it is to who you really are, even though it's a better version of you, better the outcome. So as always, I recommend building a single question or prompt. I'm going to write it all out. I'm going to copy and paste the entire thing in. So in terms of what I'd like to focus for LinkedIn, it's truly only the summary or the about section. The other pieces, I think you really need to work on individually. If you want to use this on the other pieces, you can use it there as well. And it's a trial and error, but I think you're going to have some problems with it's going to write things out in a very traditional way that have to be read to absorb. So here, focus in on this. Give AI as much backstory for whatever section. So if it's the about section where you're trying to pitch yourself, say, this is who I've been. This is my history. This is why I'm interesting. This is why I'm special. These are the type of companies I've worked for. This is my ultimate career goal. You have to give AI all of the backstory. Now, it may use some of that in what it writes for you or rewrites for you, because your goal is to write the content first so it has a base structure of your thought process. And you fill in all those details, all the reasons you think you're better than everybody else, any other thoughts you might have. Now, you simply ask the question, it's right here. Rewrite this content section on my LinkedIn profile with a higher level of sophistication. By the way, every word or angle request I put in here, you could just change to what you would desire. Present myself by highlighting my successes, accomplishments, and in helping meet the company's mission. Keep the rewrite warm, engaging, yet confident with a lot of energy. There you go. You can simply talk to it like a dear friend you were asking to help you. And if you do all of that and give it all that you can, and you copy and paste that in, you'll be pretty dazzled with what it produces. Now, there's another way to use AI, and if you have a paid version of LinkedIn, of course, the AI tools within LinkedIn are available to you. And every single section, it's going to want to enhance with AI, enhance with AI, enhance with AI. But the problem is, everybody does that. You're going to end up looking like everybody else. And your goal is to look interesting and different and exceptional. So actually, I don't recommend using it that way. But here is the use case for what I think you should use on LinkedIn. Well, thank you guys for joining in today. Understand that if you're watching this on YouTube or LinkedIn or on my Self-Recruiter YouTube channel, or maybe over on Facebook, wherever it is, please do like, comment, share. All of those things really do help and make it so that I can keep producing these videos for you. If you need help in your job search, reach out. Check my Self-Recruiter website. All the information is right there. Just click on the career branding tab to find out a little bit more about how we can work together. And if you need to talk before you know which package may be the right one for you, or which one may be the one to get you over whatever your individual challenge is, just reach out. We'll set up a time to talk. John@selfrecruiter.com. And thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow for Career Evolution. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.